Welcome to Timekeeping. This show will attempt to chronicle year-by-year changes to Disneyland Paris, from the excitement of a new ride opening to the minutiae of a store changing names. Join us as we celebrate 30 years of the resort. A magical day in 1992 would culminate in the Main Street Electrical Parade. The classic parade made the move from Walt Disney World after it concluded its run there in September of 1991 to make way for Spectro Magic. It premiered on opening day of Euro Disneyland, April 12th, without the patriotic To Honor America finale of the Florida parade, as it would make sense, the parade was now in Europe, instead ending on the It's a Small World unit. Despite the beauty of the park and the resorts, things were not all glittery in France. In May of 1992, entertainment magazine The Hollywood Reporter reported that about 25% of Euro Disney's workforce, approximately 3,000 men and women, had resigned from their job because of unacceptable working conditions. It also reported that the park's attendance was far behind expectations. Euro Disney SCA responded in an interview with the Wall Street Journal in which Robert Fitzpatrick claimed that only 1,000 people had left their jobs. In response to the financial situation, Fitzpatrick ordered that the Disney MGM Studios project for Europe be put on hiatus until a further decision could be made. Prices at the hotels were reduced. Despite these efforts, in May of 1992, daily park attendance was around 25,000 guests, some given figure of about 30,000, instead of the predicted 60,000. The Euro Disney Company stock price spiraled downward, and on July 23, 1992, Euro Disney announced an expected net loss in its first year of operation of approximately 300 million French francs. During Euro Disney's first winter, hotel occupancy was such that it was decided to close the Newport Bay Club Hotel during the season. Initial hopes were that each visitor would spend around $33 US per day, but near the end of 1992, analysts reckoned spending to be about 12% lower. To quote Michael Eisner, "We charged too much and spent too much." The first decorative overlay of Sleeping Beauty Castle occurred during the park's first anniversary celebration in 1993. This is when the castle was dressed up as a cake, complete with strawberries, icing, and candles. This overlay was removed after the celebration ended, but a similar concept was copied for Walt Disney World's Cinderella Castle in 1996 for the 25th anniversary. Efforts to improve attendance this year included serving alcoholic beverages with meals inside Euro Disneyland Park, in response to a presumed European demand, which began on June 12, 1993. The first change to happen to Festival Disney occurred in June. The Streets of America shop closed and made way for the new Rock and Roll America, a restaurant themed around America's favorite rock and roll artists. It paid tribute to the biggest stars in the music industry, from Tina Turner to Fats Domino and Bruce Springsteen. It was an American-style bar with a pleasant atmosphere to relax and enjoy a drink or to have a small snack. The place was decorated with musical instruments and car components, and live music was performed regularly. It was decided that Disneyland Park didn't need that many table service restaurants as originally envisioned. Therefore, the Explorers Club was transformed into Colonel Hathi's Pizza Outpost, named for the elder elephant character from Disney's The Jungle Book. However, the interior of this counter-service restaurant would still include much of the original theming. The table service venue did not endure, perhaps because there was no Jungle Cruise to draw guests back to this corner of the park. Furthermore, Disney soon found out that guests preferred a convenient meal experience so that they could spend more time enjoying the attractions. So different foods and themes were tried out at the Explorers Club building over the year, and props were changed out or removed, like the club's flag emblem, audio-animatronic birds, or the proprietor's office area. Graphics were added to windows, and a new outdoor patio seating area was created. Despite the attendance problems early on, guests eventually started showing up to Euro Disneyland in droves in short time, and it was decided that quick projects to add more to do in the park were necessary. Tony Baxter was called back to the project and scrambled to find Imagineers to help add cheaper but thoughtful new attractions to Disneyland Paris over the next 3 years. Legends of the Wild West is a walkthrough attraction through Fort Comstock at the entrance of Frontierland, which opened in '93. It features wax figures of characters from the American Far West and even famous legends. Guests are led to the upper floor where the following wax figures are visible: the 49er, who has just found golden nuggets during the gold rush, the thug snoring in prison waiting for a jailbreak, The sheriff in his office, full of wanted posters, and he's getting ready for his next shootout. Davy Crockett, here seen shooting another man, and Buffalo Bill in his home preparing his Wild West show with 2 other men. Originally, the walkthrough would end in the remote area featuring Indian teepees, and there guests could meet cast members that were Native Americans. Later, this part was closed, but it is still visible. The earliest plans for the original Disneyland and its Fantasyland featured a Ferris wheel based on the old mill. While these plans never found use in Anaheim, Imagineers would revisit them in Disneyland Paris. The mill, when the park opened, was simply a snack stand, but in looking for ways to add capacity, Imagineer Jim Scholl figured out that it actually probably could hold such a Ferris wheel attraction. Les Pirouettes de Vieux Moulin opened on June 6, 1993, taking the form of a bucket system attached to the main windmill. In the early 1990s, WDI was developing an Indiana Jones mini-land for Disneyland Paris's Adventureland. Rumors circulated of other attractions to have been included, such as the EMV or Enhanced Motion Vehicle ride, the Indiana Jones Adventure, and a new jungle exploration attraction based on the classic Jungle Cruise. Due to the early financial problems of the resort, Indiana Jones and the Lost Expedition would be canceled, and they decided to build the Ore Car Coaster minus the show building and anything else simply as Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. Opening on July 30th, 1993, Indiana Jones et le Temple du Peril was the first ever Disney roller coaster to feature an inversion and the first ever Disney thrill ride to have a track gauge wider than 50 inches at 55. Ultimately, the constrained budgets and requirements for a high-thrill attraction, at this point Space Mountain still being years away, brought the birth of the looping coaster produced by Intamin of Switzerland. Giovanola was the subcontractor. Despite lacking any indoor show building in the same scale as its Blue Sky predecessor, the final attraction stays true to the heavy theming of the original plans, with enough landscaping, winding paths, and lush vegetation. Originally, there were torches illuminating the stairway at night, but they were removed in 2000. The attraction is designed around the theme of an expedition to the Lost Temple of Peril. The queue wanders through an abandoned base camp, meandering towards the temple, where guests climb a staircase to the temple entrance. And inside, guests board a mine car. According to Imagineer Tony Baxter, Temple du Peril is a traditional roller coaster attraction. The roller coaster cars, which are supposed to be mine cars, are going up and down over the surface of the temple, clearing debris or putting back the artifacts and so forth. It's a very simple little premise. Then the car seems to go out of control and upside down during its trip around the various temple pieces. The track layout of the attraction is based on the layout of the first looping roller coaster built by the Pinfari Company. Pinfari called this a TL59, with the TL standing for the loop and the 59 for the ride's 59-meter width. The Intamin version copies the course but uses a track style that is unique to Intamin. The style and basic design of the coaster was eventually used as the inspiration and basis for the Tokyo Disney Sea roller coaster, Raging Spirits. Funny enough, the coaster was built next door to the Indiana Jones Adventure, yet features no theming to the Indiana Jones franchise. Although Disneyland Paris only received the Temple of Peril in '93, the Jeep Expedition was in fact still in the works. WDI was developing the attraction for both Disneyland in Anaheim and Disneyland Paris simultaneously. Meanwhile, Walt Disney World was also interested in the project. The revised project would take guests for a shorter version of the original Jeep Expedition, but without the inclusion of the Jungle Cruise or the Ore Car Coaster. The expansion pad in Adventureland, of course, still sits empty to this day. The Euro Disneyland Railroad would see an addition. The Eureka Engine is dedicated to California and the West Coast. The design of this engine is based on the construction trains which were used to link the railroad from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Well, time sure flies. If you're enjoying this jump from time to time with us, please hit the like button and subscribe for more great content. If you need the perfect apparel for any trip to a Disney park, you can visit the Carousel of Products at carouselofproducts.com. To support this show and others, you can join the WDWNT Inner Globe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. For all of us here at WDWNT, thank you for watching Timekeeping, and we'll see you real soon.